And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the semifinals of the Rex April Madness Playoffs, day number 2. We just wrapped up with our first best of 7 of all things. Again, best of 7s in the semifinals. Unheard of, Fabi, unheard of. We've been spending all month competing and playing and covering and casting this tournament. We just wrapped up with our first best of 7. Hero, he's our first finalist. He just took down Rogue in a dominant performance, a dominant showing of PvZ. Now we are here to determine who will join Hero in those finals. Will it be a Protoss? Will it be a Zerg? We're here to find out. This morning in the bottom left hand corner of Persephone, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. And this morning, in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Danish Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Storm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we jump into our second semifinals of the broadcast. Oh boy, and again, that first semis was a little bit more one-sided, was a little bit more cutthroat as well. Hero just not holding back. What I will say though is that if you just tuned into that series, you just saw it, if you just experienced it, this should be a very different kind of PvZ. We saw a lot of aggression out of Hero. We saw Glaive Adepts. We saw Cannon Rush as well towards the end. We did see rushing into Sky Toss. We saw a lot of different quirky builds and quirky styles and a lot more reactive play out of Hero. MaxPax is less of that kind of player. I guess that's what we love about MaxPax and Hero, is that there are two sides of the same coin. They both play very differently. They both have different strengths, different weaknesses. Hero is very aggressive, very intensive. He can be a very difficult player to read. MaxPax is a little more solid in his play. He's a little more stable in his responses, and he doesn't really deviate too much too often. We have seen MaxPax go into Glaives before, but it's more of a rarer side for MaxPax. He's often much more standard. We should be expecting to see Stargate Opener into +1 and Blink. We saw that once in Hero series. Here I expect to see it more often, which means Solar should be a lot more comfortable. He should be a lot more comfortable. There's less chances of Solar being caught off guard by something like Glaive Adepts or by some kind of hidden tech structure. So we will hopefully see a more back and forth series here. We'll keep an eye on our players. Now, I say more back and forth series. If you've been watching Solar for the past couple of months, for the past 2, almost 3 months at this point, Solar has been hyper aggressive. Solar, he has almost exclusively gone for all-ins against Protoss. Like, we've seen a lot of not just all-ins but different kinds of all-ins from Solar in this matchup, whether it's 2.5 base, you know, Ling Hydra all-ins, Ling Queen Nidus all-ins, Roach Ravager all-ins. Like, we've seen just so much different forms of aggression, and we expect to see that here as well against MaxPax. And I mean, Solar, he's beaten MaxPax with these all-ins. Like, that was what I want to say last month in the Hub Cup. In Hub Cup, Solar did take down MaxPax in that tournament. We'll see if we can do it again. We'll see if he can do that again. For now, oh, doesn't pull out. Uh-oh. Okay. Sorry, I'm already just a little bit caught off guard. Solar, he doesn't pull out of gas. Already hyper intensive. Very aggressive here from Solar. It is common to pull out of gas once you get link speed. Link speed is already done. From here, we can rush into a fast lair. If we rush into a fast lair, this could be a rush into Hydras. This could also be early Roach Warren tech as well. I'm leaning towards a lair. We're at 4 minutes at this point. We're almost at 100 gas. Behind this, MaxPax gets his 3rd base into Twilight Council. I don't see a Forge. Ooh, this looks like an Archon drop. So Twilight Council into Robo. This does feel like an Archon-based opener here into Templar Archives. As there is no Forge. Oracle pokes in. Does pull away. And we're waiting for that Templar Archives. Meanwhile, yep, fast lair. So that's going to be, what, a 420 lair timing. So fast lair is on the way for Solar. He is getting a safety Roach Warren. Meanwhile, we're waiting for the Temple Archives. Oh. And there it is. So as we mentioned, this opener did scream Archon drop. So this is a later Archon drop build. This is designed to gain map control, to harass across the map, and allow MaxPax to get into his own economy. So the Prism is on the way. This War Prism is lined up. By the time it gets across the map, we can warp in High Templar and morph in those Archons. This is a build that's been very trendy amongst the European Protosses for the past for this year. Has been very trendy. Of course, last year the Polish Protosses were all about this, referring to Geralt, Christiana, and Mana. And here we go. Archons are on the way. For whatever reason, the Korean Protosses never really picked up on this. I'm referring to Hero and Classic. Creator did. Creator, he does indulge in Archon drops every now and then. But Hero, Classic, Trap, like they didn't really give this build too much mind. As Archons do move in. Transfuse going off, catching the queens. So far keeping them alive. Roaches are amassing, and so far Solar he holds. He holds, he defends. MaxPax rotating into the main, Spores in position. Wall zone away. MaxPax does pull out. Behind this and staying the fast infestation pits. I mean, we spoke about the fast layer earlier. That's already done. Now into the fast pit. Now, I would assume this is for Hive Tech. This is for Lurker Tech, but there's no Hydrogen. Is there a chance? Yes. That's right. I answered my own question. Is there a chance that this is for Swarm Host? Very high chance of Swarm Host. For those that are curious, we don't get to see this too often just because this is a rarer build amongst Europeans and Koreans when they face off against each other. But a very common response to Archon-based openers is going to be Swarm Host. The reason for this is because there's no Blink Stalker. So if you ever see like a charge Archon-based build, there's a higher chance you're going to be seeing Swarm Host from the Zerg player as a response. Pit is done, and there it is, 8 Swarm Hosts on the way, as to be expected. Like, this is a standard response here from Solar. MaxPax should be aware of that as well. Like, he hasn't seen the tech, I don't think. Yeah, he hasn't seen the tech, so he's not fully aware of what's going on, but he should be aware that this is a possibility here. As Swarm Hosts are amassing, it's going to be 12 Swarm Hosts here out of Solar. MaxPax pulling back. And we'll see how much value Solar can get. Now, as is the case when it comes to Swarm Host, there are going to be periods in time where Solar is going to be vulnerable. Swarm Host, they have their first Locust Wave, and ideally you want to be sniping the natural or getting into the third base, getting into the main. Overseer looking for a way in. But once the Locust Wave gets spent, then Solar, he'll have that much less supply to work with. Oh boy. So here we go. Locust Wave towards the main army. Stasis traps are in position. Locust Wave coming in. Stasis does get baited, and he's going for the High Templar, going for the Immortals. Solo diving in. Will take a storm to the face. Gets one, takes 2 storms. Collapses in. Oh, he gets cleaned up. I believe, yeah, no High Templar goes down. Nice defense here from MaxPax. He holds. He holds against the first wave. Again, a very nice War Prism Micro is also saving the High Templar. And Solar, he's vulnerable. Solar, he's very vulnerable right now. Again, that first Locust Wave did not do enough damage. Pokes in, takes a storm to the face. Massive storm. And MaxPax is totally out of control. Solar, he is in trouble. Deep trouble here. He turns back around. He needs that Locust Wave to survive. It's ready. Locust Wave is ready. And you can see that MaxPax has to back off. Again, he respects the Locust Wave. Once it gets spent, then MaxPax can push. Locust Wave is coming in. This time much earlier. Diving in the army. Will take a storm to the base. Takes out 1 Archon. Just the one. 1 Archon and a bit of hold damage on the Immortal. Prism across the map. Charge is done. Zelt's going for the Queens. Likewise, they'll run by the right hand side as well. Queen's under fire, going for another warp in. The warp ins do continue. MaxPax does create an opening. Doesn't go for it yet. Prism does move away. Prism backs off. MaxPax building up. We have the Hive on the way, Lurker Den as well. So Solo is trying to transition into Lurker Tech. He's on the way. Now, depending on how well this Locust Wave goes or how poorly it performs, MaxPax might break out once again. Locust Wave is coming in. There's the first storm. The Locust Wave does collapse. Gets 1 Archon. There was one Archon going down, only one Archon, and here we go. MaxPax is time to push. It's time to push, time to break free. Solar is vulnerable. He has to get the hell out of here. Push Hydra from behind. Does not get a High Templar. High Templar, they stand strong. Roach is getting caught out. Again, that's mass immortal. That's how many? That's 11 immortals. 11 immortals back. MaxPax pushing in. At the same time, Zealous, they do hit the right hand side. Drone's going to be going down. A Solo getting pulled apart. Prism into the main. A tri-prone attack here. Do you have another Locust Wave coming in? There's a Storm. Shutting down the Locust. Yeah, another Storm as well. And the Swarm Host, they do nothing. Not enough damage. Drones are falling. Another Warping into the main. And the main army just forcing its way into the natural now. The production is exposed. Trying for the Overlords even. The one Archon is the only anti-air. Hydras are trickling in. Again, attempted Lurker tech, but no shot. We're not going to get there. Not this game. Lurker save is almost ready. See a Solar pulling out. Sorry, we can see MaxPax pulling out a creep. Does pull away. 12 drone kills in the main. Lurker Wave catching out one Immortal. Okay, one Immortal goes down. You're losing another two. But last GG gets called. There was just nothing left here. Nothing remaining for Solar, and MaxPax will take game number 1. Whew. GG. MaxPax does take a lead. And with that, we'll see if Solar can recover. Whew. Again, so far, I mean, really good defensive from MaxPax. Despite the Swarm Host, we saw that they didn't really get much value, especially early on. Towards the end, they were getting like one Archon at a time, one Immortal at a time sort of thing, but nothing major. Bearing in mind just how much supply was invested, how many resources were invested into the Swarm Host. And the reality is that a lot of the momentum, or a lot of the power and the strength in that Swarm Host build, that Swarm Host response, comes in the first wave. Like, that first wave needs to get some damage done. If you fail to get damage, then you fall behind. Then your opponent snowballs out of control. Just a really solid defense there to MaxPax. We also mentioned that Swarm Hosts are a very common response against Archon drop openers, and MaxPax, he was aware of that, and he was so ready for it as well. He completely shut it down, made sure that the Locust Waves never got any value, any damage. GG. GG well played. With that, we're now getting into game number 2, going to be loading into Home, the smallest map in the tournament map pool. Let's go. We're loading into that smallest map. And again, we'll see if Solar can recover. I'm sure he can. Again, I do feel like these smaller maps are going to be favoring Solar, assuming that he is going for all-ins, but we'll see. We shall see. A spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Home. We have the blue Zerg player from Team Falcons down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back. It is Solar. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the Danish Protoss player, the red Protoss representing System Gaming. It is MaxPax. We go. And again, Solar, he's a very different kind of player to Rogue. Do apologize on the stuttering that we're getting in game. I will try to rectify that coming into game number 3. Do apologize. We'll fix that. But getting into our game here and getting into our series, if you recall, Rogue, his win condition, like where he thrives, was Lurker tech. That's what we saw on Amygdala at least, and that's what we were leading into as well. Meanwhile, Solar is a very different kind of player. Very different compared to Rogue. He's a little more early and mid-game oriented, and he does thrive in these shorter game states as well. So because of that, I'm curious to see what Solar goes for here on Home. Let's go. But hopefully the game does clear up at least a little bit. Hopefully. Beautiful. As for now, we have our standard openers here from our 2 players. Likewise, MaxPax going for his own gate expand into Cybercore. Nothing crazy, nothing too wild. But yeah, I do apologize. Basically, I was using a VPN for the previous Korean series, which was silky smooth, but I did leave the VPN. I did leave the VPN on, so I have to turn that off after this game. That's why you're seeing some stuttering here and there. Just because right now I'm routed to Korea, not routed to NA, to the Americans. So that's not good. But we'll be fixing that after this game. Otherwise, we have our Stargate opener. Stargate at a MaxPax. So far, so good. We'll keep an eye on the gases. Now, this time, you can see Soleil pulls out. Remember, last time we did stay in gas, and that led into a faster layer, into, of course, Swarmhost at the end of the day. This time, Solar, he pulls out. Not being too tech-intensive here. Not this time. We're droning, we're saturating. Adept, oh, we'll threaten the mineral line. No major damage yet. More adepts on the way. Stargate is now done. Going for the first Oracle. And when it comes to Airhome, we did kind of briefly mention it, but this is the rush map in the tournament map pool. Show rush distance by ground, expose third base, expose fourth base. We do expect to see all-ins here. Last time we loaded into this map, if you recall, Rogue did go for a Ling Ravager all-in off of 33 drones. That was also a response to Hero going for his own 4 Gateclave Adepts. But here, none of the sort. Here we have a more standard opener at a MaxPax, and likewise a standard response at a Solar. So far, everyone is droning. Everyone is droning, everyone is saturating. We're all calming down. We're calming down. So far, no major tech structures yet. We shouldn't be seeing anything for the next 30 seconds. Then we can throw down either an Eva Chamber or a Roach Warren or even a Lair. So we do threaten the Shades. MaxPax here with the Oracle. Ling's going down. Very clean control there at a MaxPax. Heads into the middle line, gets another drone. 2 drones do fall. MaxPax, he cancels the Shade. Oh, he does cancel drones. They come back too soon. Yeah, too soon. 6 drone kills. Ay, ay, ay. MaxPax with the jukes. Does juke. Does fake a Shade. Does get away. And so far, very successful attack here. As Lings, they will punish. Thankfully, they do catch at least the Adept, so that was still worth it for MaxPax. Behind this Solar, he is now pulling back into gas. And we're going for the Lair. So Lair first here at the Solar. Now, this is a much later Lair compared to what we saw previously. Meanwhile, Forge, Twilight Council, standard follow-up, plus on and Blink. So far, standard game out of MaxPax. And no major aggression yet out of Solar. What we're going to be looking at next is saturation. Does Solar drone up completely on 3 bases? Does he get a 4th base just for Larva? Does he drone up the 4th? We'll see. I didn't see an Evo Chamber yet. So no Evo Chamber for Solar. Oh, there we go. Speaking of, there it is. So working towards upgrades. Working towards a longer game state. MaxPax is settling in. Likewise, moving out, he has his Oracle support. He's got his Queens. Stalkers, I meant to say. Has his Stalkers. Pushing forward. Hoping to catch a Queen. We do have our Temple Archives follow up here into Storm and Archons. MaxPax poking in. And it looks like Solar, he's not going to commit into Ling Ravager or Ling Roach. It is going to be a Hydra Den. Okay. So plus on range on the way. Hydras as well. Stasis goes off. Only on 2 Lings. Backup Stasis on the way. MaxPax is gaining ground. Ooh. Does catch 1 Stalker. 1 Stalker gets picked up. Up. Meanwhile, Queen does fall. Nice snipe. Snipes a Queen. Sniper Queen. Still moving in. Catching out more roaches. Oh. Spires don't quite connect. MaxPax rotating around. Does rotate, still just trading very efficiently here, picking up roaches as well. Does spot the hydras. Is aware what's going on. And again, Solar, he's bleeding out a lot of units here. The base getting low as well. Nice Biles doing the stasis. And nice Biles. Last that Roach army's being thinned out. How many Roaches have gone down so far? 7, 9, 10. Every single Roach. Nice Biles. Once again, does not connect. Not quite. Okay, baits out the stasis. Stasis is baited. Solar, he's on the 3-base economy. Hydra upgrades on the way. Let's go plus on range. And does Solar drone? Does he commit? I'm afraid to look at the efficiency here. So 6 Stalkers went down for 10 Roaches, 40 Lings, 1 Hydra. A very successful push there. And it's go time. At this point, it is go time. Rocks are being knocked down. Solar, he is choosing not to drone. He's not droning up. He is on a 3-base setup, 3-base economy, massing up Roach Hydra. Okay. He's massing up his army. Still refusing to drone. So he's going for a 3-base all-in. And again, these are the builds that we're expecting out of Solar in this series. The problem is, again, MaxPax has been so efficient. I believe Storm, yep, Storm is done. He's moving in, being proactive. Hydra speed now complete. MaxPax, he spots the army, like massive revelation. MaxPax, he respects it. He has 1 shield battery, 2 cannons. Not too much static defense. He's got more cannons at the triangular third. There we go. More cannons on the way. Brutal Storm. Storm does zone. Zealous a breakthrough towards the left-hand side, getting on top of the Roaches. Forcing a reaction here from Solar. Solar, he's almost maxed. Hydras are exposed. Oof, Brutal Storm. Storm connects. Zealous cleaned up. Solar, he rotates over to the other side, but again, we have plenty of stack defense here. Oh my god. Storms, they pop off. We have the fleet peeking on the way. That's going to be for the mothership. And this all, I mean, Solar, he's been all in for quite some time. He has drones here, but don't let that fool you. He has not been droning. He's at 60 workers. He's just been transferring over to that 4th just to maintain the all in. Roaches, they come in for a flank. High Templar going down. He gets 1. I believe 2 High Templar go down so far. Getting another. Another High Templar falls. He's running out of storms. As that's going to be the final storm. He's got plenty more. Never mind. He's got plenty more where that came from, and the Hydra army just crumbles. Yeah, Solar, he has almost nothing left. He's down to 3 Hydras. Another storm. Every Hydra goes down. And that was it. GG gets called. The all-in fails, and MaxPax takes game number 2. GG. Whew. GG. Well played. MaxPax, he does extend his lead in the series. And with that, we'll see if Solar can recover. Again, what we saw in Air Home is what we expect. 3-base all-in, you know, the 4th base just for lava, just pure Roach Hydra. Unfortunately, MaxPax, he was so proactive. He was able to pick away so many Roaches and so many Hydras ahead of time. So the all-in was even weaker by the time it got across the map. And the storms were brutal. There were just so many High Templar, so many storms ready. And again, a Roach Hydra composition is very immobile. Storms, they were punishing him so hard. If we had something more Ling heavy or Ling based or even more higher tech, then sure, we can have a more back and forth. But purely Roach Hydra, we saw the storms, they were getting so much value. GG, well played. With that, MaxPax, he takes a 2-0 lead, and we'll see if Solar can recover as we load into Sand War. Let's go. Let us go. Here we go. How do you counter Storm and Zerg? Do you just have to bait them all out? Kind of. As I was alluding to, typically you do benefit from having a faster army to be able to catch out the High Templar or to get out of storms. That's where I was referring to Ling Hydra, like Ling Hydra Lurker. Lurkers zone High Templar away. Lings are a way to close at distance faster and force storms and even catch High Templar. Again, as just to emphasize once again, Solo was all in and his army specifically is more vulnerable to storms because of how immobile it is. Like Roach Hydra is a very clunky army. It's a very clunky army. It's very much so kind of a brute force composition. There's a reason why he was all in with that, and alas, he was just torn apart by the storms. But here we go. We're getting into our next game, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Sandworm, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Team Falcons down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back. We'll see if he can recover. It is Solar. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Blue Zerg player, the Blue Zerg representing Storm Gaming, leading the series 2-0. It is MaxPax. Thought the Roaches would be clunky enough, or chunky enough, surprised they got deleted in seconds. Well, the thing is, Roaches, they can tank a storm. They can tank a storm. Because there were so many High Templar, there were just multiple storms, right? So the Roaches were still being punished regardless. Still being shut down. We saw that towards the end, Solar eventually got on top of the High Templar, and he was able to snipe every single one. By the time he did, he had already lost everything there. Already lost everything. And with that, we're now getting into our next game. We go. As Solar's Forsake the Unnatural Natural does claim the third. And welcome once again to Sandworm. Sandworm is a smaller map. It's a smaller map, not as small as Arrowhome. True. It's a technically larger map than Arrowhome, but still on the smaller end of things overall compared to all the other maps. So rush distance by ground is relatively short. There are goal bases you can rush into. We've seen a lot of players successfully take and defend said gold bases. I would not be surprised if MaxPax does indulge in their gold as a fourth base. We'll see if the game does last that long. Likewise, we do have the Dragon's Teeth in the center that do allow for some more quirky play and some congested fights in the center. We have seen players force field in and lock down armies here before. So you gotta respect the cones. Respect the Dragon's Teeth. Solo going for his third. And likewise the Stargate opener out of MaxPax. Does open Stargate. Storm Gaming, true. Storm, more ways than one. True. Respect the cones. Exactly. So far, Solar just happily joining up, and we'll see if he does commit into another aggressive build. Again, I would feel like that would be more favored on this map, but we'll keep an eye on Solar. For now, Adepts, they shade into the natural. At this rate, they shade into the third. Getting one drone so far. Shaving up Lings. No major damage yet. One Adept does go down. Nice pickoff. Does snipe one Adept. Likewise, MaxPax setting up here, going for his own oracles, moving out across the map. And just going for a standard opener here. Again, we don't really expect a MaxPax to deviate. Again, it was the last series that we were keeping our eyes on Hero, and Hero, he was going for different builds and different styles every game. Here, we expect more of the same every game. We expect Stargate into a third base, into +1 and Blink, into Storm. That's kind of what, if we ever deviate from that, we'll do our best to point it out. And to be fair, game one, we did have an Archon drop opener. True. So MaxPax, he did mix it up in his own way. Did have the Archon drop. As Oracles, they poke in. There's the follow-up. Twilight Council on the way. Alongside extra gateways. Interesting. So here we're looking for the Robo. If we see a Robo and no Forge, this looks like another Archon drop, which we did see on Persephone earlier in the broadcast. Earlier in game one in this very series. Otherwise, MaxPax, he can actually turn this into Glaive Adepts. I believe the Twilight Council is a little bit later, but technically this can turn into Glaives. The other option would be early Blink. Forge. Okay, not Glaives. So we can rule out Glaives, we can rule out Archon drop. This does look like just Blink. And Blink is on the way for MaxPax. So basically, this build here is, it's designed twofold. First things first, if Solo was going for a 2-base all-in, then Blink would be done in time. Blink is done fast enough to shut that down. Likewise, because Blink is so quick and so fast, it means that MaxPax can be more aggressive earlier than normal. Speaking of, he's already moving out. So he's getting ready for his move outs. Again, Blink is done faster than normal, so he will have a little micro potential with his army. He can be more proactive with his forces as well. You can see Stalkers, they cannot move through the cones. Adepts can. And MaxPax, he can turn this into a 3-base all-in. So we'll keep an eye on the gateway counts. He can go up to 8 gates if he skips his gases. But now poking in. Meanwhile, we do see that Solar, he is throwing down the Roach Horn, that is true, but going into +1 range and rushing into Hydras. Hydra Den has been thrown down. We'll see if he can get there. We'll see if he gets punished. Stalker's poking in. Does threaten the Queens. Blink is almost done. Lays out. They come in for the dive. Have to be careful. Can't quite commit. I mean, solo going Ling Hydra is going to be ideal against this. It's going to be ideal. So solo, he will have a fighting chance. Temple Archives on the way. Further tech. Gases were taken, so not a 3-base all-in. MaxPax taking his gases, taking up into Storm. Shaving off the little Lings, going for the Queens. And MaxPax, he's been so efficient so far. Shaving off 29 Lings. The Hydras are exposed. Oh, the Hydras. 1, 2, 3, 4 Hydras going to be going down. Getting up to 5. Very expensive losses there for Solar. Ay, ay, ay. Bleeding out 6 Hydras for 3 Stalkers. Queen goes down as well. Stasis going up. And again, MaxPax just picking up whatever he can behind this, getting a 4th base, getting a greater economy, investing into Storm. Solar, he might just commit. We'll see. Stasis is baited. And basically, we'll see if Solar drones. We'll see if he drones up the 4th base. Otherwise, this could just be a 3-base all-in again. Obviously, a very different kind of all-in. Last time we saw this on Error Home, it was just Roach Hydra. This time, it's more Ling Hydra with a couple of Roaches sprinkled in. The investment into Roaches and Roach speed tells us most likely we're not going to drone. Most likely, no droning here at the 3rd base. Oh, sorry, at the 4th base. Once again, 3-base all-in out of Solar. As the gas being spent on these Roaches would typically be spent on an Infestation Bit, on a Hive, and on Lurkers. Or on Ling Bane. So it is just going to be an all-in here from Solar. Storm is ready. I'm getting deja vu. This is very similar to what we saw on Error Home. The difference being is that MaxPax, he already traded so well ahead of time. Storm's coming in. Storm's on the Hydras. Yeah, brutal first 2 Storms. Storms once again zoning back the main army. More High Templar trickling in with still plenty of Storms, by the way. Plenty more Storms. We have an Immortal to reinforce as well. Oh god. The Storms are popping off, man. Ravager's going down, and Solar, he's still not droning. He's still committing. It's all or nothing for Solar. And he will lose this army. At this point, reinforcing with purely Roaches. And the longer this goes on, the better it is for MaxPax. Again, the soup does lie. Like, Solar has been up in supply, but it is inflated supply with Roaches. MaxPax, he has the more efficient army. MaxPax has the advantage. And things are looking dire for Solar. Now, I do like this Roach run by. Unfortunately, he just got scattered. He just got scattered, so MaxPax is in position. He has the Immortal, he has cannons, shield batteries. Likewise, engaging with the main army. Storm pops up. Nice sniper on High Templar. MaxPax being a little bit cavalier, fighting out in the open. Uh-oh. And Solar, he will get one High Templar. He gets one. He gets one. He barely doesn't get the other. The Roach Rumba gets dealt with. Max actually now, oh gosh, Jesus. He cannot focus on the main push, and GG gets called. Solar, he runs out of steam. The all-in fails, and MaxPax extends his lead 3-0. GG. GG, well played. Again, this was a very similar game state to Arrow Home, where Solar, he committed to a 3-base all-in. He did not drone up the 4th. This was a little bit different just because he did go into Hydra sooner, and it was very Ling heavy early on. But just like on Arrow Home, we did have plenty of time, or I say just like Arrow Home, different to Arrow Home. This time, MaxPax, he was getting so much value early on, picking off Hydras, picking off so many Lings as well. Alas, we saw that MaxPax, he was so proactive and so successful in his aggression early on, and that kind of set him up for success. Likewise, the Storm timing was brutal. Again, Storm finished up just in time to shut down the all-in, and Solar's in trouble. He's up against the wall. Once again, this is looking very similar to the Rogue series that we had earlier. If you remember, Rogue, he did fight back. He did put 1 point on the board against Hero. We'll see if Solar can likewise fight back and put a point on the board as well. Otherwise, this might just be a short series here, as MaxPax needs one more game to win it all. He needs uno más, papi, uno más. And again, MaxPax did come in as the favorite player, for sure. But I want to believe that Solar can make a series out of this as we load into Ultra Love as game number 4. I'll do so myself right now, yes. Respect. First, ahí está. You're an animal, baby. You're an animal. You missed out on a full best of 7, baby. Ay, ay, ay. Ahí está. But here we go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Team Falcons, down heavily in the series. He has to fight back here and now to make a series out of this. The pressure is on. It is Solar. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the Danish Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Storm Gaming, leading the series 3-0. One more game is all he needs to make it to the grand finals to face off against Hero in that PvP. It is MaxPax. Here we go. As welcome on to Ultra Love. Ultra Love is once again a smaller map. It is a smaller map, short rush distance by ground. I guarantee you, Solar's gonna all in. Like, as I mentioned at the very start of the series, like, we did expect to see mainly all-ins out of Solar. So far, we've seen all-ins 2 out of 3 games. Only 2 out of 3. The first game, if you remember, was Swarm Host play out of Solar. But here, Ultra Love, alongside the base being taken, it does scream that Solar most likely is going to go for another 3-base all-in. He could go for a 2-base all-in. True, that is also going to be available. We'll see what he does indulge in. It is not uncommon to see German taxis on this map, Ling Queen Nidus all-ins, Ling Ravager all-ins as well. The rush distance by ground is very short on this map, especially when we expand towards the opponent. Likewise, I wouldn't be opposed to MaxPax going for the same build. If you remember last game, something that MaxPax did for the first time this series was early blink. Remember, he went early blink before, and he delayed his forge intentionally so as a result. And with that early blink, he picked off so many Hydras, so many Lings early on. He slowed down Solar before he could really get the all-in going. And that's one of the strengths of early blink. We could see that again. And again, it's ideal if your opponent's going for an all-in. So we'll see how safe MaxPax does play. For now, going for the Stargate. Does go for the initial Stargate. Likewise, Link speed is on the way. Solar, he pulls out of gas. And we're going to be calming down. For the time being. Down, Depth does shade in between the bases, does confirm the expansion. Confirms no crazy 2-base play. Nothing crazy. Both adepts join up. Two adepts taking one-shot drones. Solar, he has to keep up. Pulls away the workers. Does pull away. Doesn't quite get the adept. Oracle is out, and from here we should be expanding. And again, the big thing that we're going to be looking for here, at least what I'm looking for, is the Twilight Council timing. Twilight Council timing and the Forge timing as well. Does he go for early blink? Does he not? Does he play safely? Does he play standard? Again, we're leaning towards safe play, but we'll keep an eye on him. Likewise from the side of Solar, he pulls back into gas. He's droning up. We're waiting to see if he throws down the Evo Chamber or a Roach Warren. We're expecting a Roach Warren here out of Solar, but we'll keep an eye on him. Perhaps they do move out. Nice snipe on the Tumor. Oh, they catch a drone. One drone already goes down. Denying mining here at the third. Second Oracle towards the, or I guess denying mining at the natural. Second Oracle towards the third base. So far, going for the stasis. Stasis is going to pull off, catching one. And he has to get one more drone in the main. Two more drones even. Before shading out. Likewise, it is going to be a lair first out of Solar. So 4:30 lair timing. Fast Twilight Council, delayed Forge. This is the same build that we saw on Sandworm. So same build from Sandworm. This should be Blink. This should be early Blink. And as we mentioned on Sandworm, and now we bring it up here as well, this is a very safe build. Very, very safe. Because of early Blink, it means that MaxPax can be very active early on, and Blink is going to be done in time if Solo were to go for an all-in. So MaxPax, he can punish Solo for now. Droning. Does drone, does saturate. No tech yet. Lair is now done. Is this the game? We're rushing into the Hydra Den. Oh boy. Okay, so this looks like a 3-base Ling Hydra all-in. The reason why I say this is a Hydra Den before Evo Chamber. I'm pretty sure this is going to be +1 range. This is a build that Sol is very fond of. If you remember, we actually brought this build up in the Rogue series, in Rogue vs. Hero on Killer's Mile. We spoke about it, about how Rogue, he went for a +1 range. He went for early Hydra production into a Hydra-based all-in, which was very Hydra-centric, more so Hydra, lesser Ling. We'll see if that's the case here. As Oracle pokes in, Oracle pokes away. Yep, we do have Hydra range being prioritized, and we should be seeing +1 range alongside this. Yep, there we go, +1 range. So it's going to be a 3-base all-in. 3-base all-in, it's very Hydra-centric, very Hydra-centric here. This is a build that Solar's very fond of. He's very fond of whenever I see this build, I think of Solar. We saw Rogue do this previously against Hero. And we'll see if MaxPax can slow this down. This is poking in. Ideally does want to catch some Hydras, but the Hydras they're already amassing up early on. Lings, they get across the map. They do threaten the natural. Hydra speed is on the way. That's going to be in time with the move out. Lings getting caught. What I will say is that MaxPax, he has been proactive with these Stalkers, but he has not gotten much damage so far. He's gotten a couple of Lings, but I believe he has gotten 0 Hydras. Yeah, 19 Lings, 0 Hydras have fallen. Solar, he's massing up. Again, this space is just for Larva. And Solar, he's now moving out. Oh, a couple of Hydras finally going to be going down. Barely not, actually. They do survive. MaxPax kiting back. Lings, they come in for a surround. They at least attempt to. And there's the blink. Does blink away. One Stalker falls. And the army has arrived. Solar, he mass drones. 17 workers. He's not committing. He's not committing. I mean, he has plenty of Hydras. He's still pushing in. But Solar, he's trying to transition out of this. He's transitioning. Infestation bit. Lurker Den is on the way. And we'll see what he can get done. He's going for the base. He should deny the fourth. Fourth base is going down. So far, pretty successful. We can see MaxPax setting everything up here to defend the third base. But remember, We're getting out of the all-in. We're pivoting away from the all-in. MaxPax, he's waiting for the army that isn't coming. And Solar, he races back home. He races back home. He's taking up Hive is on the way. Infestation is on the way. For the first time this series, Solar, he's joining up his fourth. He's joining up his fourth base. He's actually droning, actually saturating. Gearing up towards Hive. Solar, he has to be so careful with this army, though. This is all he has. A very fragile Hydra army. Solar, he pulls away. He still needs more time. Right now, Solar's vulnerable. Oh, and here comes a counterattack. Solar, he was hoping he would keep MaxPax at home. He was hoping that MaxPax would be more defensive. But Solar, he's in danger. He's in danger here. Like, this army is so vulnerable to storms. Like, Solar, he cannot fight this head on. Roundback coming in. Lurker production has begun, and Solar, he needs a little bit more time for the lurkers. As the tower gets knocked down. MaxPax, he rotates. Moving in. We have 4 lurkers on the way. Oh, massive storm on the Lings. Yeah, Lings are being shut down. Lurkers have arrived. Solar, he's bought enough time. And now he has lurkers. As we get into lurker tech, we have the fleet beacon, getting ready for Skytos, getting ready for the mothership. 2 more Stargates on the way. You can see Max has such a quick transition here, or such a quick reaction. He accepts his fate. He's like, okay, you're going to survive, you're going to defend. I'm getting into Skytos. Oh, gets a lurker. Gets one. But we're getting into a longer game. Like, at this point, MaxPax, he's accepted he most likely will not break Solar. And he's getting ready for that late game as a result. Good positioning here, denying some of the lurkers. Starting back the army. And alas, MaxPax, he will deny the base. Meanwhile, lurkers, they go right down mid. They're going right down the center here. MaxPax out of position, blinks on forward, he gets 1. He gets 2, he's gonna get all 3. Okay, lurkers are going down, but there's still 2 more lurkers on top of the ramp. Solo going for the base trade. And MaxPax, he's running out of steam here, he's running out of storms. He has 0 storms left. This is the army, 1 immortal. That's not enough, it's not enough, and Solar, he's done it. Solar, he breaks through. GG, and Solar, he breaks the natural, and Solar will put 1 point on the board. Let's go. Whew. GG, well played. We do have a series. We have a back and forth. Again, Solar, he was in so much danger. It was a very quirky build out of Solar, as he was playing very fast and loose with droning. Initially, he was going for the all-in. He did pivot away from it. He teched as quickly as he could into lurker tech, and he got there just in time. And instead of defending, I mean, he did defend, but instead of focusing on defense, he just sent it across the map, went right down mid, and he caught MaxPax as he was transitioning into Skytos. This is actually a very similar game to Rogue versus Hero on Killer's Mile. If you remember, actually very similar game state, where if you remember what happened, Hero scattered lurkers, he scattered lurker tech, so Hero, he threw down Stargates and a fleet beacon, and then Ling Hydra killed him. Like this is a very similar game state actually to what we saw here. Lurkers killed MaxPax, like actually did invest in lurkers, but previously Hero got caught out as he was also switching to Skytos. As you can see, that is when you are vulnerable as a Protoss player. MaxPax and Hero both working towards Tempest, both caught with their pants down. And has the comeback begun here? Can we extend this tournament or extend this series into another game? The pressure is still on. Remember, MaxPax, he's 1 game away from claiming the series. Solar, he has to fight back here and now to make a series out of this, and to keep things going, and to potentially force the ace match. Let's go. I'm just happy it's not a 4-0. Okay, that's that's all I wanted, baby. That's all I wanted. No 4-0. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Starchild, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Team Falcons. Fighting back, putting a point on the board, it is Solar. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Danish Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing Storm Gaming. It is MaxPax. Here we go. So we are settling into our next game. Again, happy to see that we do have a back and forth in some fashion here. No 4-0s. And welcome one all to StarCraft. StarCraft is the largest map in this tournament map pool. It is a macro map, a lot of bases, wide open spaces in the center. I say wide open spaces, really a lot of choke points in the center as well. These bases are a little bit more open. There are multiple avenues of attack, especially once you can knock down these rocks. You can attack in towards the third base, the fourth base, the natural, in between the bases as well. So it is a little bit more difficult to turtle on this map. But we do often see longer and later games and just late game scenarios and maxed out armies as a result, just because of the sheer size of the map. So we do not expect an all-in. For the first time this series, I will say that Solar here most likely will be setting up for a longer game stage. We expect to see early Eva Chamber +1 melee into Ling Hydra out of Solar, getting ready for Hydra Lurker Viper in a longer game. So we'll see if Solar does indulge in that, if he does embrace that. Again, the map will favor that kind of style. Meanwhile, MaxPax most likely standard game. We should be seeing +1 Blink. So far for the past 2 games, we've been seeing early Blink and early Twilight Council after the Stargates. We don't expect that here. We would expect to see a Twilight Council alongside the Forge into faster +1 and faster upgrades. So we'll see if that's the case, as we are keeping our eye on our players. We could try to shake things up and deviate. We have seen Archon drop openers out of MaxPax in game 1 of the series. But for now, Stargate opener out of MaxPax. So far, everything looking as it should. The longest journey begins with the first step. It does, it does. We've been stepping. We've been steps have been taken. That's true. And the shortest journey also begins with the first step. Is also true. What journey are we on? We're here to find out. I'm hoping for a longer one, right? I'm hoping for more games in this series. We'll see. As so far, Oracle is on the way. Have our initial Oracle opener. Poking in. No weepy journey. MaxPax will claim his third. We're waiting for the follow-up tech of choice. Otherwise, we're calming down. We're settling in. I will say that here on this map, there's the highest chance to get into a longer macro game. Even last game, technically, we did have Solar joining up to 4-base saturation. That is true, but even then, it was still a very short, a very abrupt end to the game when it came to his move out. Here we're expecting it back and forth. Yep, there it is. So we did, if you recall, we did say that we expected to see fast Eva Chamber into +1 melee into Ling Hydra. There it is, fast Eva Chamber out of Solar. From the side of MaxPax, we expected a Twilight Council alongside a Forge. That's not what we're getting. This is still a very safe build. This is the same build we just saw on Sandworm and we just saw on Ultra Love. So a very safe opener out of MaxPax. I would imagine going into Blink. Hold up. He's going into 4 gateways, no Forge. Are we going into Glaives? MaxPax. Should also okay, never mind. Forge. Okay, Blink. So this is the same build that we saw on Ultra Love and that we saw on Sandworm. So a very safe build here out of MaxPax. Meanwhile, we do see melee's on the way for Solar into Lair into Ling Hydra. So Solar is getting ready for a longer game for the first time. For the first time here in this series, we're going to be chilling, droning on up, taking up as well. Gases are being taken. We're calming down, or at least Solar's calming down. Now, MaxPax, he will have the opportunity to be aggressive here. We mentioned previously that with early Blink, he can be active earlier on. if MaxPax doesn't take his gases, he can turn this into a 3-base all-in. He can go for an 8-gate. So our eyes are going to be on MaxPax to see what kind of value he gains and to see how hard he commits. I don't think he will turn this into an all-in, but I mean, he has the opportunity to. He has the option. And so now he pokes in. Let's poke forward. Threatens the queen. Shaves off wings. Speaking of, stasis going up. Catching out some of the lings. Queens are that much more exposed. So far, good value here at a MaxPax. Poking away at the army. Roach speed is on the way. I believe we haven't seen a Hydrogen yet. Technically, Solar, if he takes his gases, he could even try to go into a Spire. But now, though, he has to deal with the army initially here at his front door. MaxPax shaving off more lings. And he's taking his gases. Oh, stays to yourself. Well, he does take his gases. What does that mean? That means we're taking. We have the we have Charge on the way, Templar Archives as well, working towards Storm, working towards High Templar. Oh, god damn it. We have Overlord Speed on the way. We have Overlord Speed, we're getting ready for Trouble Lords. We're getting ready for an all-in. I got ahead of myself. I was expecting Solar to drone. That's not happening. It's not happening. Lindsay is shut down. Solar, he's not droning up his 4th. Overlord Speed is a massive tell. We're calling a taxi, Pat. We're calling a taxi. We're going to Germany. Let's go. Call up Lambo. Aye, aye, aye. And here come the Drop Lords. Here comes the all-in. The German taxi is upon us. MaxPax, he hasn't seen this. But I'm curious if you noticed the lack of drones, right? Lack of drones here is a tell. There's a recall back home. And Solar, it's going to be all or nothing. Again, I was hoping for a longer game state. It's not happening. It's not happening. Not here. Drop Lord is ready. Queens are loading up. And we're heading out. So it's going to be purely Ling Roach Ravager. Solar's on the way. MaxPax back at home. Storm is going to be ready for this. Bear that in mind. Storm is going to be done in a couple of seconds. There's Revelation. Spots the Drop Lord. He knows. MaxPax, he does spot this ahead of time. He has the ramp. He has control of the ramp. Solar, he rotates. Rotates over towards the 4th. Remember, the map is large. It's working against Solar. Storm on the ramp as well. Brutal Storm. Queens are dropping in. Once again, trying to target down this High Templar. Biles, they do connect. Very nice Biles. But Storms, they blanket down to the army. Ravagers take a lot of hits. Some of the High Templar are getting picked off, though. He gets 1, he gets 2, he takes out most High Templar. High Templar are falling. We're running out of Storms. And Solar, does he have enough? He may just. Again, the Storms are very frantic. Archon goes down. And Solar, he's done it. At this point, it looks like he may have just done it. I say that Charge wants to come in for a flank. Catching out the army. Zealots are across the map as well. Taking down workers. Drones are falling. Trying to force back the army, but the Cybercore goes down. And more Stalkers. Just Zealot reinforcements. So for MaxPax, I mean, he's coming in from multiple angles. Coming in for a flank. Storm pops off. Very nice Storm. And he has 1 Storm left. 1 Storm in the chamber. Ooh, does connect. And these Roaches are so low. They're so very low here. Zealots, they come in to reinforce. The Immortal has arrived. The Lings, they come in. Nice control there from MaxPax. He pulls away the Immortal. Does pull away. Stalkers are going down, though. A lot of Stalkers do fall. It's still very close, very tense. Solar, he wants that Immortal. He wants it. Can he get it? He dives in. Goes to the dive. Doesn't get the Immortal. And he'll lose everything in the process. Yeah, the Lings, the Roaches, the Ravagers. Solar, he will lose everything here. He's running out of steam. He's running out of army. And MaxPax, he holds. And against Solar, it was all or nothing. He was completely all in. Back at home, he was bleeding out drones down to 51 workers. Solar, he will tap out. GG gets called. And MaxPax, he will defend. He will take the series 4-1. GG. Whew, GG, well played. A very intense all-in there out of Solar. Again, was actually achieving quite a lot. He was catching out all the High Templar. He was baiting out and forcing early storms ahead of time. So very nice engage there from Solar. But alas, it barely wasn't enough. We spoke about this earlier, but the map itself was working against Solar. Reinforcements took longer to get across the map, but I would attribute a big part of that success actually to the Zealot run-bys. Remember, it isn't just that reinforcements took longer, but Zealot run-bys, they killed 9 drones and they were forcing reinforcements to stay at home. They were delaying reinforcements, they were keeping Solar busy back at home, so he couldn't reinforce the way that he wanted to, and as a result, he ran out of steam. He ran out of steam, he ran out of power behind that push, and with that, GG. GG, well played. MaxPax, he will claim the series, and with that, we have our grand finals ready for us. Exclamation mark, be in the chat to have a look at the bracket yourselves. As you can see here, Hero takes down Rogue 4-1. MaxPax, he mirrors that. Also taking down Solar 4-1 as well. So 4-1s all around, and now we have our grand finals. Again, Hero and MaxPax, they came in as the favorite players. I was hoping that Rogue and Solar would be able to threaten them, but alas, they did at least take some maps, but only a map each. As now we have our grand finals, Hero and MaxPax facing off in a best of 7. Let's go. Let us go. We have Hero and MaxPax stepping into the ring in that PvP, and this is going to be a spicy one. Again, I do love casting these two players face off. They have a very unique dynamic between the two of them, very unique meta between them as well. We'll get into it. We will get into it once the series does begin. Vetoes are underway, and the players are asking for a couple minutes here to get ready to prepare themselves. Don't blame them. We'll give them that time. Also, a shout out to Shiva Blaster. God, thank you so much. Thank you so much for subscribing for 40 months. That's a lot of months. That's a lot of months. Thank you so much for all the support, for all the love. I hope you enjoy the content, the casting, and the StarCraft. Thank you, puppy. Thank you. Thank you so much, Shiva Blaster, for all the support. Let's go. GG. GG. The battle for the toss crown. Exactly. The battle for best Protoss in the world will soon be upon us. For now, we're going to be going on a break. Again, we just wrapped up the semifinals. We're going to be going on a break, and when we come back, we will have the grand finals ready for you. So take this time to get some snacks, get some food, get some water, drain your disruptors, massage your marines, hydrate your hydras, tuck in your tempests, cuddle your colossus, marinate your marauders. What else do we have? Pet your probes, and we'll be back soon. We'll be back soon here with the finals. See you guys in a couple of minutes. Oh, see you soon. See you soon.